in the name of Jesus, to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. Woo! To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There is power.
Step in and do whatever. And I've spoken to him personally. He said he did not have the information. But I will contact him tonight when I leave here to ask him, because this is what he told me. But what we can do, why can't we get on buses and protest? I hate to say, when the corresponding communities, when Caucasians have issues, they get up there and they go to Albany on buses and they protest and they protest and they protest. And we have Hooper, she lives right here. We could protest at her home there. She can't help us until we ask her for help. If we go there and protest at her home, she's not like the mayor. She won't take this as a personal hit against her. She'll take this is what my community is demanding. And if my community is demanding this, then I have to go with what my community wants. Why can't we do something like that?
We can. Let me just interject. I don't know if the board's fully aware, but Deputy Speaker Earlene Hooper has been in the district on numerous occasions, and the purpose of her being in the district was, one, to observe the conditions in the high school and in the middle school, because she said her words seemed hollow in just saying that we are overcrowded in those two schools. So she actually came in to see what it looked like with the students moving through the corridors, passing from one class to the next. She stopped in to see what our cafeterias looked like with the students in there for lunch. She looked into the classrooms to see the number of students that are in there. She is actively pursuing trying to get additional monies for the district as we speak.
But if we protest, we can help her.
Yes, that's another avenue, but I just want to point out she's one of the few that has been in the district to assist us. Now, so that you'll know, on Monday, if you follow Newsday, the State Education Department had sent a team in that met with me on Monday, and they were performing an investigation regarding the district's attendance and registration department. The report from that meeting on Monday, because they requested of the district that we submit documentation to them. So that information I'm presently correlating for them. They'll have it in the morning, but they'll be writing up their report, which will be submitted to the district on Wednesday.
Our district here.
Yes, so we'll have that report. And then you have a number of other departments on the state education level that will be doing investigations. We have another one on Thursday of this week where they're coming in to look at our bilingual department in the district, and that was due to an article which appeared in Newsday as well. So we have some people who have reached out to us to assist us. Have we received enough? No. As a superintendent, I'm working with 5 other districts, and we're doing a consortium, because it's time as a superintendent we speak out, because they're experiencing the same issues that we are. The Commissioner of Education refuses to respond to our letters, as well as any phone calls that we might make inviting him into these districts to see the conditions that we have. We have been requesting monies on the federal as well as the state level. You have to understand, in the Hempstead School District, we pay $27,000 to educate one student, and that's a student, a general ed student, who does not need additional services. So when you look at additional services that that student might need, that adds up. But let's do basic math. If you have 332 unaccompanied minors that entered the district, and you multiply that times the 27,000, you're looking at, on top of a budget that this community approved, $8.9 million. That's just on educating that child. Then you look at the staff that we had to pull in as well to educate those students. But we need not stop there. When we closed out in June and we opened back up, we're looking at 1,558 new students to the district. Out of that 1,558, we're looking at 565 that are homeless students. And on top of that, we have 332 per unaccompanied minors. So you look at what this district is, the challenges that we have before us right now that we feel that we have handled. but we need the money from the federal or the state level, and that's what we're out here trying to get for us now.
But that's why
But
we
your
need to
suggestion,
publicly
right.
bring it out to the public, not keep it inside this village. We need to get out to the public. When anyone else have any issues, they have a press conference that they get out there and protest, no matter how big or how small, and they get heard. Something happens. Why can't we do this? This is what used to be done back in the 60s. If anyone wants to know their history, look how change came about. It didn't happen because we had these meetings and kept it to ourselves.
Yes.
We have to publicly get out here and have our feet have to hit the ground. As a group, we have to get out here and publicly announce we need help. Come help us. We'll take everyone, but we have to have the resources that go with it. They cannot come empty by itself. And we're having problems as it is. We cannot grow. We have no place to grow to.
If I may,
Yes, please.
I think that, first of all, I want to apologize for the housekeeping issue, because I felt the same way when I walked in here this afternoon. Okay? Secondly, there are things, young lady, there are things being done as it relates to checking homes and violations and things of that nature, and we are working in coordination with the village. To answer your other question, you talked about, we don't have a choice as it relates to the numbers that the superintendent had just shared with you. We can't say we don't want them, because then that's against the law. No, I'm just sharing, because that in itself is against the law. Unfortunately, the way we are set up, as Trustee Brazy alluded to earlier, we have policies that needs to be fixed. So what we are going to do, or what we're in the process of doing, is looking at other districts who don't have this issue and trying to figure out, well, why is it that you don't have this issue that we have? So what do we need to change to fix it so we don't have these same issues? As it relates to going up to Albany, that's something that doesn't necessarily have to be initiated through the school district. Because in the past, when people did go up to and do whatever they did, it didn't necessarily come here.
Of course.
So that's something that can be done. You could even start something of that
Oh, I've
nature.
been working on it. Thank you.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is that I think it's somewhat inaccurate to think that we're not supportive of something like that. But at the same time, I think you have to understand that that's not something that we, as a board, are going to bang the drum to. We can support it, and we can assist however we can, but it's not necessarily something that has to start with us. And that's just something that I think is important for us to understand. And also, you made a statement regarding us having these kinds of meetings. You see, I understand why you're bringing your frustrations here regarding the overcrowding and all that other kind of stuff, but that's not exactly what this meeting is for. When we started talking about putting these kinds of meetings together, it was before the crowding and the overcrowding thing occurred. And what we were talking about is we're trying to fix things in this district that were broken before the overcrowding started to happen. So that's the reason why we're here. So I don't want you to misunderstand our purpose as to why we're here. And, because it kind of hit a nerve when you said, we always keep it in here. We're doing something that hasn't been done in years. This kind of thing hasn't happened in years, where you have an opportunity to speak to us, to let us know what it is that's on your mind, to bring to us. And I understand that once we did that, there was going to be stuff that we didn't like, that we weren't going to like to hear. I get that. But we are prepared to deal with those things as well. So I just want everybody to understand what the purpose of this is. And we want to try, we will listen. As Trustee Brazy said, we're here to listen. But at the same token, I just don't want to get off track as to the reason for us being here.
I'm going to call you in 1 second. I just want to address the Albany issue, because civil disobedience is a good thing, and often that's a part of education that our children are not getting, and they do need to see how we must sacrifice to make change happen. And so tonight, Ms. McNeil, I appreciate your comments,
Yes.
and we really do hear you. And tonight, I would like to partner with you to start planning something. We can come up with a date, and anyone else in here, before we move on to the next topic, going to Albany is something that must happen. It is time for us to start standing up for ourselves and our rights. We earned that. And our ancestors, many lost their lives so that we would have a right to do it. So tonight, Ms. McNeil and I, and anyone else that would like to sit on that committee, we're going to make it happen, and with the quickness, sis, we are. Anyone else interested in sitting on that committee? We're going to do that tonight. We're going to sign up tonight for that. Okay? All right. So now, sis.
My question is that I was hearing that the board is working diligently trying to fix some of the things that are messed up. I'm hearing that the community is here for the effort of trying to come together to make things happen for our district, for our children, and for our community. And what I'm wondering is, how can we make sure that we're working together, rather than one's working on one side, this one is working on the other side? How can we ensure, and I honestly believe that it's going to take the board to do that, to help us to really help the community to work together, to help push those things that are necessary to make our district what it ought to be, and to get it back to where it needs to be. Because I know that that's everybody's desire. But if we're not pushing together to get there, then it's just going to be a mute thing. It's a lot. There's so many things that are going on in the district that the community is honestly unaware of and need to be aware of in order to make it happen. We really do. Because, you know, in our heart of hearts, we want our district to be the very best. And it needs to be the very best. And if we're not working together, if we're working against each other, then we're really just spinning our wheels, talking a whole lot of stuff, and it means nothing. You know, I look at me, and I know that I give of myself to the district because it's in my heart to be there for the kids. Not just my kids, but the kids that are in this district that need so much. And there's so much being beat down on them. They're expected to do. They don't even understand how to get it done. And it's our responsibility to be there for them and to do all we can for them. And that's why you're here, and I believe that's why we all want to be here. But if we're not making it a conscious effort to do it together and to figure out how to make the plan work together, it's a waste of time. We're just coming to a forum to say, okay, we're here. And at the end of the day, our children are still going to be the ones that suffer.
Thank you, Ms. Gamble.
I wanted to respond to that, if I may.
Yeah.
One of the things
The key
that
question is how.
well, okay, I'm going to try to shed some light on that.
All right.
One of the things that we had an issue with that was very serious for us is we did not have a principal at the high school. Another thing that was very a challenge for us, and we did the best that we could with those positions not being filled. We now hired a principal for the high school. Dr. Strong, are you in the house? Would you stand up, please? This gentleman right here. Dr. Stephen Strong. Now, the reason that I'm making this statement is because Trustee Brazy and I were in the hallways you talked about, and I saw it, what you were talking about. One of the reasons that those things occur is because there's a lack of structure. That's my opinion. It's a lack of structure. We're trying to put the pieces in place that we know we need, such as our principal, such as an assistant superintendent of secondary education, which is Mr. James Clark. Mr. James Clark, would you stand up, please? This is another person, another piece of the puzzle. We also hired an assistant principal, and we also just hired a dean. So the point that I'm making to you is that we are trying to put the pieces in place to make certain that we do the things that we need to do. All of our decisions aren't going to be popular decisions, but we're making the best decisions that we can make that we feel that our district is going to be able to move forward. To answer your questions, these are specific things that we're trying to do. It is our hope as a board, as a superintendent and her cabinet, that we're putting the right people in place, that we are going to be able to get some structure that is going to cut down tremendously on the things that I see in this building. I'm on this campus a lot. 9:30 in the morning, I came here one day, there were about 25 kids on the handball court. I thought it was a gym class. They weren't supposed to be there. Lack of structure. I came here 1:30 in the afternoon. 25 kids, again, on the handball court. No gym class. Lack of structure. We're also in the process, with the help of our superintendent, Susan Johnson, of hiring a director of security. Because that's important to us. We heard you. We see what's going on. So we're in the process of hiring a director of security. So we want to add more structure to the safety issue in our districts, and more specifically on this campus. So what I'm saying to you is that, yeah, we got a long way to go, but we've made some strides, and I think we're headed in the right direction. And those things, just off the top of my head, were things that we are trying to do. And when this bus thing goes, I'm gonna sit next to you. Okay? I'm gonna sit next to you because I want to be there too. That's a promise. You know? Because I'm just saying, I really think that we do have to work together. Once we start that divide and push it in different directions, that's going to be an issue. So what I'm saying to you is that regardless of what happens on October 28th, you still have our word that we're going to still be pushing in the right direction.
It's all fine and dandy to work together. How about we start working together as a board and start leading that as a united team? Because I know it's disheartening. We want to work together, yes. But when you come out, you come to board meetings and there's bickering at board meetings and one don't know what the other is doing. That shows that the top leadership within the organization is not together. And if the top organization is not together, then there's a domino effect that goes on. That's number one. Number two, you just stated that we hired all these people to put a plan in place. Now, are we going to allow these people to do the job that they're hired to do and not micromanage these people? Growing up, my mother always said, prior planning prevents poor performance. So if we're putting these people in place, and that's a plan, are we going to let them do what they're going to do?
May I answer that?
Absolutely.
Okay. The first thing is, you're absolutely right as it relates to where the structure needs to start at the top. You're absolutely right, and we're very conscious of that. And we're working very hard to make certain that that's not an issue anymore. And number two, the reason that we put these people in place is because we believe in their abilities to do what it is that we hired them to do. So we have to. The answer is yes. As a board and our superintendent, we have to support them and allow them to do their job.
Support, not micromanage.
Support them. Give them what they need.
Okay.
Classes start at 8:05. Am I right? That's when class should start, 8:05. Yes. I'm here every day of the week. Now, you don't need security, they're not on the ground. I see kids all the way down in South Franklin Street coming this way. So it starts from home that the children need to get to school on time. And that's a lot of things that's going on here. And even some of them are just, if you walk in with a little speed, that tells them they're trying to get there, but they just drag it. And some of them standing on the other side, not trying to cross the street. They're standing in groups talking. Another question I need to ask, do we have textbooks? Do we have textbooks?
Working on it.
Do we have textbooks?
Nobody's answering.
Yes, yes, we have a room full of textbooks.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm making note of this because I made it clear with the building principals, if there's a need or if there's something that we need for the classroom, don't keep it a secret. Let us know on our level.
Well,
That
you're talking the middle school and the high school. I have a child in middle school, a grandchild in middle school, one in high school. They do not have books, and they share it. My grandson has one book, a math book, and they said, oh, well, you can't take them home. Then why do we have them? If you have it in school, then why don't the children have it? He doesn't, he has
high
one
school and middle school.
math in high school, and in the middle school, there's no book coming home. No book, has none, have none. I mean, that makes no sense. Like about 7 years ago, we had the same problem, no books.
I'll go down to.
You know, I'm trying to, about the children lollygagging and lingering and it's starting wrong. Yes, it takes a village, and some people don't have parents that have the wherewithal to or the parenting skills to get them there. Now, I think that we as a community have to do more to educate those parents. And if we don't fill in the gap, it's not going to work. You know, I mean, a lot of our children raise themselves. And I don't think that we should look down on our children because they're in that situation. You don't pick your parents. You know what I mean? And so I think that we have to come up with some creative ideas wherein we can step in and fill in the gap. You know, I ran children's church at my church for many, many years. And kids come with all kinds of difficulties. The most disruptive children are children that don't know how to read. And they don't want their peers to know they don't know how to read. And so they act up. And I think that we have to have the heart to understand what we have in our community and work with it. And I pray that we get better at that. Because that's a big part of the problem. Kids come to school and teachers look down on them because their faces aren't washed. Show them how to wash their face. Making them mad at their mother's not going to help. You know what I mean? And all of us do it, and we all got to take responsibility for it. I know you do yours. I get that. But there are a lot of children that need help. And we got to figure out how to help the children that don't have a mother or grandmother like you or me at home. And so I'm going to stop right there. Next question, please.
I'm a parent and I'm also the president of the HPS in the school. And that was an issue that came up with the textbooks. I was told that with the Common Core, the textbook that they have is not compatible to the literature and what they use now with the Common Core. We do use modules, ELA and math modules that's on the district website. But each classroom has a class set of textbooks that they use during the day for the students. The students have workbooks. If a parent wants a textbook at home, you have to go to their teacher and request it and sign it out. So it's not that they're not available, it says they're not available to go home. But if you would like a textbook at home, you go see that teacher or the principal, and then you can sign the textbook. They'll get the textbook for you so you can have the textbook at home. And at the end of the year, you'll be responsible for returning that textbook back to the district.
So why don't they let the parents?
I'm only sharing to you what was told to me. But if you go, I do know they use the ELA modules, the Common Core for New York State, New York Engage. It's on our website. You can go there and you can download the modules. The same modules that's on the state website is the same ones that they're teaching and using in the classroom. The workbooks that are on that website is the same ones that they are using at home. I know elementary school, Ms. Armstrong can correct me if I'm wrong, I know they have their textbooks for the math, the Eureka. They're using the Eureka math.
It's a workbook.
Yeah, they have their workbooks, but the textbooks, they're really, with the Common Core, is really trying to do away. And the Common Core is new, so the information in the textbooks is not compatible. So that's why they're doing away with the textbooks. But I know for a fact, if you want to go get a textbook from your child's teacher, you can go to the classroom and you can request it to have your textbook at home. Right, Ms. Perry?
But what happens is sharing textbooks in the classroom?
No, they have a class set. It should be enough for every
It
student.
does not.
Well,
My child is sharing a
Well, if they,
textbook in the class.
at that point, as the superintendent said, if the principal need, extra supplies, then they need to report that so we can get that to the teachers. Okay, so that's all right.
And I'm sorry, Ms. Keys, maybe you should let the teachers or the school knows that this information needs to be sent.
Well, that
to
goes
the
through the building okay, well, that could be a suggestion, we get to the building principal, to let them know. Yes, okay. Thank you.
I got another question. I saw just a few minutes ago on the Channel 12, a matter of fact, that we're opening 10 new classrooms at Hype for the Hispanic children and for educating all children. Where I have a problem is we're making all these arrangements for the Hispanic children. We're going to teach them ESL, so now they're bilingual because they're learning English and Spanish. What happens to the English-speaking children? Why aren't they getting the same opportunity in the work field where they become bilingual? Why are there no Spanish classes for the English children?
Amen.
French, English, Creole, something.
Okay, but the superintendent's gonna answer that, but before she does, the biggest problem that I have with Channel 12 and CBS and all the rest of them is that we're opening up a school for the Hispanic children. We're opening up a school
To accommodate spaces.
accommodate
No, I understand all of that.
But we have to start correcting people, because you know what
I
is happening?
understand.
There's a big racial divide in our community because of the way that we're saying things. And that stuff has to be corrected. We're opening up a school to feed the needs that we have in our district. And right now, we have a large group of children that have a special need, and it's to nobody's advantage to have these children that don't speak English sitting in a class where they don't understand anything.
Believe me, I fully
And so
agree.
I'm not fussing at you. I'm just annoyed with the media and the way they're reporting the news. And the way we're fighting each other. The way we're not allowing our children to play with each other. It's because we listen to these people who don't like us, and they don't want us to look at the big picture. So if the disenfranchised fight the disenfranchised, then we're not looking at the big guys with all the money that's coming in here trying to take our resources. We need to understand that. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And I am, believe me, I am aware of it. However, it's still concerning to me because my children only speak English. My poor first grader, she goes and she wants to learn Spanish. So every day, God bless her, she has a teacher who speaks Spanish. And she asks her, one day, every day she comes home with a new word. So she wants to be able to communicate to her classmates. So not only that, a lot of places now are looking and they will say bilingual. That means our children will be right down at social service asking for some food stamps because they won't be able to get no jobs.
That's brilliant, sis.
So we really need to look into giving them some form of
We did have that. We had that.
absolutely.
I took Spanish in elementary school, and I got to high school, I took Latin. But if you don't use it every day, you don't know it. And so our children have to be in a situation where they're using it all the time so that they can retain
And
it.
teachers also.
And the teachers.
Some teachers
Because we are in a
learn Spanish,
situation
but they
where you
use it.
have to be bilingual. And it is a disservice to the children that only speak English.
Ms. Brindley,
Yes.
you know what though, you talk about segregation, which is true, but you know what, it starts in a classroom also. Because I see classroom where there is Hispanic kids, and it's Hispanic teacher teaching these Hispanic kids, and then there is a classroom where there's black students, and it is wrong, you know, you got to start putting these kids together so they can learn from each other and stop segregating them. And we are the ones that are doing that too, injustice to our kids.
May I explain that? May I explain that? I teach the language. May I? Okay. Voy a explicar algo que ella tiene una pregunta. What happens is this. When you come to the country, in answering your question, when you come to the country as a newcomer, you get what is called NLA, meaning that you get your language in the material that you need to learn here. But at the same time, the non-native speakers, that means English speakers only, they get class like mine, where I teach them from A to Z plus more. So by the time they get from the 9th grade to the 11th grade, they'll be taking what is called the regions. Matter of fact, I think one of my parents is right here. And we use Spanish in the class with the students. So we start from beginning, from A to Z. We tell them to watch TV. We take them on trips. We take them to the museum. We try to incorporate not just the language as a learning language, but the culture. So they'll be able to be familiarized because, listen, we live in a community where this is a rich community. We're getting more than one language. So as far as the foreign language department goes, we try to incorporate the non-natives with the natives. We don't make a separation, we mix them all. Okay, for the monolingual students, that's what you're referring to. With the bilingual students, they get the opposite. They first learn the subject, like when you know when you're in school, you take English 11. Well, they're taking the version in Spanish of the English 11 of literature. So when they get to be in a regular mainstream classes, they'll be able to understand what's going on in the English class.
What if they don't want to?
What do you mean?
You have children who speak Spanish, who don't want to really learn English.
That don't want to go to mono class.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are children who speak Spanish who intentionally know English but don't want to learn it.
Well, that's something
That's where the problem lies. And
Okay.
I'm just speaking from my heart.
Okay.
That's where the problem lies because you push to try to make sure that they understand English.
Right.
But they'll come out of a bilingual class where they're encouraged to learn the language, but they're also allowed not to. They come into a classroom where it's both, it's where they have to speak English, where they have a teacher that teaches English, and they'll turn around. I know I'm not saying all the words I should be saying, but they'll turn around and they'll intentionally not want to learn English or act like they don't know English in order to get over in the classroom, and that stifles a classroom.
Well, I can tell you from my experience,
Yeah.
because I teach a foreign language, it's a difference. I don't teach the ESL students. I teach the mainstream students, meaning like the kids that speak English, and they're going the other way around.
Okay.
So answering your question, I
Yes.
cannot because I don't teach those.
Okay.
But I can do tell you in general, answering the lady's question,
Yes.
because that's a whole different thing. That's
Mhm.
part of my license.
Okay.
That other ESL piece, is,
Yes.
I'm not too.
But that's the
I
piece
cannot
that's
answer
the
your question
problem,
in that regard.
honestly, to me. That's
No,
the
I
piece
understand,
that's
but
the
that's
problem.
something I cannot answer, but I
Yeah.
can answer the foreign language portion, which is the lady's question.
All the way in the back, there's a hand. Oh, give me our spot. Oh. Wait a minute,
She's trying to translate the
I was
chat.
just trying to anyway, yeah. Oh, talking. Oh, okay.
Give
Go
a
ahead,
minute.
just keep talking.
I was looking at middle school parents, senior grade. My only concern is about bullying. And it stems from sometimes maybe we can address two issues. Uniforms, which a lot of people don't want to hear. Uniforms, because there's a concern where if my sneakers was $200, then my focus is not on why I came to school. It's because of what I have on our feet. And that happens a lot in the middle school. Kids pick on each other, they say stuff. I say it because I see two sides of it, as a parent and as a teacher, that's occurring. And then the fighting outside has to stop. It's not just Black and Hispanic, Black on Black, Hispanic on Hispanic. We have to come together to find some solutions, some common ground, where the police have to get involved and not just to arrest, but just to encourage the kids to do something different. Because if it's fighting, they're going to end up killing something, and we're going to be on the news for something negative again.
I agree with your point, and it's very important when you educate students They fully understand. And last week, with the parent district liaison, we attended a bullying program in the Brentwood Unitary School District. And it's important for me, before I allow a program into Hempstead, I want to see it myself. And it was an excellent program, and it's being sponsored by a student out of Hofstra University. And the program that we observed was one for, they were doing it for the upper elementary grades. Excellent program, 45 minutes, but it has a strong message. And a lot of students don't realize that their behavior is bullying. And after reviewing that, I came back and we're looking at having that program, starting it in our middle school and moving it to the high school. It was an excellent program. Okay? And uniforms, the Board of Education has taken leadership in this area. They have developed a policy. It's being reviewed through the Board of Education's procedure regarding policies. It will be on its second reading. And it's something we're looking forward to doing, and that will be from pre-K through 12.
Yes, ma'am.
Earlier, you said we're hiring a director of security. In hiring the director of security, are we going to then make sure that the securities are properly trained? Because I will say this, it is very hard when the security and the high school students are meeting at the same place. They can't secure them, they can't speak to them, because outside of school they boys. So, I'm saying we have to properly train the security in doing their jobs, one, and in two, separating, you're getting paid to do a job, we're no longer boys. So, are we going to make sure that this takes place?
Yes. I wanted, I'm sorry.
No,
No, go ahead.
no, it's nothing.
I just wanted to add something to what you're saying, just really quick. That is a problem that we are aware of. And what that does for us is two issues or challenges that problem causes for us. Number one, we spend a lot of money in this district. And we have to start paying better attention to the money that's being spent. Now, I say that because the current situation, the way it's set up, is you have people who work in our security staff who have friends and they do favors for other friends. We also have an issue as it relates to having somebody to lead our security staff. We have to make a decision along with Superintendent Johnson whether or not we can bring somebody from within the ranks or what?
Because it's the same problem. No!
This is what I'm saying.
Let's go outside and find somebody.
Or do we have to go outside? So what I'm saying to you is that we are aware of that to that level. So to answer your question, yes, we are looking at training. We are looking at making certain that we get people who are going to be able to do the job. And if it means that we have to get somebody from outside, then that's what we're going to do.
Okay, the flip side to that now is you say that you guys are aware of it.
Yes.
Okay, in being aware, what are we doing? Because right now, security seems to be a big issue.
Yes.
Middle school, high school. Praise the Lord, it's not in elementary. It's not in my school. But it seems to be a big problem within middle and high school. And if, as board members, we're aware, or as a executive group of people, we are aware of the situation, what plans are we putting in place to address this situation now? Where people like yourself don't come and see 20-something kids on a handball court, and there's nobody, security, to say, get to class. Or, like the lady said, there is children hanging outside the front of the school. Why are you out here? Where do you need to be? What are we doing for that? Because it's a problem now.
Right. It's called structure. And if you don't have it, nothing matters. So what we're doing now is we're having conversations with the people who we already have in place. But we understand as a board and as the cabinet and as our superintendent, we understand that that's not good enough, which is the reason that we have to hire somebody that's going to be at the top that's going to provide the structure to make certain that the security guards are going to get the training that they need and they're going to be where they're supposed to and doing what the heck they're supposed to
And
be
we're
doing.
also going to let them know that there's going to be consequences if you don't go
Absolutely.
where you are.
Okay. And also, we need
I
to...
need to translate.
Okay.
Yo no sé si pueda. Ok.
Hable despacio, por favor.
Ok. Me voy a parar acá. Yo quiero compartir con ustedes con respecto a la seguridad de la escuela.
Sorry. He wants to share with you guys in regards to security at school.
Okay, tengo una hija en 9º grado.
I have a daughter in 9th grade.
Hace poco con la seguridad.
A few
Ella
months ago,
estaba caminando
she was walking
cuando un compañero, alguien,
when somebody
un estudiante le arrebató el celular
took her cell phone
enfrente del security de la
in front
escuela.
of the security of the school.
Ella llegó y le dijo de que lo
She
que había
told
pasado
security,
y él no la atendió.
and he didn't pay attention to what she said.
Ella fue a poner la queja a la principal,
She
me
went
dijo
to
ella,
complain to the principal
y le dijo de que las cámaras no funcionaban, que no podían hacer
that
nada
the
con
cameras
ella.
did not work, that she could not do anything about it.
Entonces yo como padre estoy preocupado
Me as a father, I'm concerned.
porque si eso pasa, fue un celular, yo le puedo comprar otro celular.
If it's in regards to the cell phone, that's not a problem. I can buy a new one.
Pero
But
si es algo
if
grave que
there's something
pasa,
else,
una situación
crucial,
fuera, ella puso la queja al
she
security
complained to security,
y no hizo nada.
nothing happened.
Entonces mi preocupación sigue
My
como padre
concern
porque
sigue-
ella sigue viniendo acá.
My concern as a father is that she still comes to school.
Es una preocupación que
That's
tengo
the main
y
concern that I have.
lastimosamente no puedo explicarle bien en inglés
Unfortunately, I
para
cannot
que,
explain it well in English.
para que todos
Eso me tiene a mí.
pero sí
But
e incluso no le compraba el celular, yo
I
le
even
dije,
I didn't even bother buying the phone
porque yo me puse a pensar
because I started thinking
que si seguían las investigaciones,
if
si
they
esto
continue
pasa
investigating,
en la escuela de mi
if this
hija,
happens at the school that
¿qué,
my daughter attends,
¿qué podría pasar si a este muchacho lo toman, lo agarran
what happened if this kid they take him?
y el security vio y le dijo
And
nada?
security
La
doesn't say
principal, yo no
anything.
sé
And
quién es la
the principal-
principal,
I don't know who the principal is,
pero que le dijo que las cámaras no funcionan.
but the principal told my child
Y muchas
that the
personas,
cameras don't work.
muchas personas me han aconsejado
And a lot of people told me
que traiga los medios de comunicación
to bring the media
para ver qué es lo que está pasando en esta
to see
escuela.
what's going on in the school.
No soy un hombre de problemas,
I'm not a person of trouble,
pero sí un hombre que se preocupa por mis hijos.
but a person who's concerned about her child.
Entonces es de tomar qué es lo que está pasando.
Take account of what's going on.
Esto quería compartir con
I just wanted to
ustedes.
share with you.
Gracias por
Thank you for listening. Okay, but I gotta get the TV.
Can you turn around so we can hear you, please?
Perhaps put stronger security here, like with your current staff, because like that parent said, I feel the same way, that this is not secure a lot of the time. So I don't know who you have, I don't know every security guard you have on staff, but perhaps if you can get the security together and maybe put some more stronger people here, because this is where the big problem is. I mean, I know the babies need security as well, but there's a bigger problem here at higher levels.
And it's at the middle school
And high school, yes,
right.
both of these.
And I think we need expertise at the next level. And besides hiring the security aides, I think we need to start looking at retired police officers as well as the resource officers who are familiar with what they need to do and have the type of sensitivity and training where they realize it's not important to be buddies with the students, but they're here to do a job, and you need that type of mindset to change around what's currently being done, and that's something that we are exploring in
Right,
the
but,
district.
I mean, to me, there seems to be a lot of younger people here than was last year. I don't know why the security staff changed, so that's why I said, is it possible to perhaps put some more stronger people here? Because nothing like that should happen to anybody's child in front of a security guard and nothing's done. That's not right.
Okay.
Before police is here every day anyway.
Just somebody needs to be in the school.
One thing that really concerned me about this gentleman, and I thank you for sharing the story, but if if we don't know, and I know a lot of people don't want to cause trouble, so they don't say anything, but we have to figure out a way where you're comfortable in reporting when our children are not safe. Because if one child is not safe, it doesn't matter what ethnicity they are. None of the children are safe. And that bully would pick on anybody's child. And so we really need you. I know you don't want to go to the media, and I appreciate you not, because we're in there enough. But if you could just pick up the phone and let the superintendent know, or let somebody know. I need to know, I need to know who the principal was. I need to know who the security guard was. We need to be able to hold the adults that are getting paid to do a job accountable. And we're very, very bad at that in this community. Everybody's somebody's friend and nobody wants to ruffle anybody's. But in anybody else's job, you're accountable for your actions. So we need to know, and I'm talking to all the parents, we need to know. Some parents have bigger mouths than other parents, and then nothing gonna happen to our children. That's right. No, I'm saying not going on. You know, this whole thing going on. That's right. But some parents, are gonna be in your face, but some parents aren't, and we need to know how to be there for all of the parents, as well as all of the children, right? Okay.
But see,
Go ahead.
yes. Now, I work with the district, but I also have children here. But I also feel that it's not safe. When our kids walk home from school and they get ready to turn that corner to come from school, yes, they blocked off Oakland, finally, after all of these years. But once they turn that corner on the Martin Luther King Drive and they have to make their stroll home, they cut through the parking lot, whatever direction they take, there's always something. Okay, I understand the security only goes as far as the school, but there should be something that's in place to see some of these kids when they're walking somewhere. If they're going to take the main road, everybody's not going to after school. Everybody's not crossing with the crossing guard. There has to be something done in the neighborhood, just from the district saying, okay, we need somebody to stand there and keep watch. Our children are not comfortable. Kids are getting picked up off the street in vans and cars in different places. And it doesn't matter what district you live in. Your child is a friend with somebody and the neighbor decides to give them a ride home and they don't even know who that person is. They'll swipe your child right off the street because your child is friendly. Okay? And it shouldn't matter what color we are here. We're all looking out for each other's children. And that's what I do around my block. If I see a child that's in need or somebody needs help or something, I'm wondering, okay, where's your parent? Let me speak to your parent. Because children can't speak for themselves. And when something dangerous happens, who do they look at? They look at the parent. So we have to learn to step in too here. If you're raising them and teaching them at home, fine. But when they go out in the street, their environment is what changes them. It's not that they didn't learn it at home. They learned it. But when they get out there and they get around somebody and trying to fit in, who's bullying or peer pressuring or trying to push them into corners to do something wrong. I don't care if it's stealing a bag of chips from the store. It's called peer pressure. And you're so busy trying to fit in with the clothes, with the hat, with the hair, with the colors. These little kids walking around here with all this weave down their back, and I've never. That doesn't make any sense with all these 50 billion colors. It's how you started at home. Or the children come to school with these short shorts and poo-poo shorts with a pair of boots on. And you're in first and second grade. It's not presentable. We have to start it at home saying, look, you can't wear that. Uniform, yes, it's wonderful. But everybody can't afford a uniform. So yes, they do send them in whatever they have at home. And we understand that. But this is called school. This is not called party. This is not called hangout. Okay, so they need to learn the difference. Regardless of what language you speak, it's still all the same. It stops here. This is school. Okay, I see children going out with their parents and staying with them all day long to translate and do things for them, but those kids need to be in school. This is the reason why they can't pick it up. And I understand you may need them to stay home to do stuff with you, but they also need to get their education. I shouldn't see an 8-year-old helping their grandmother all day. And I understand, we do help the elderly and we do help do things, but they do need to get everything in school too. How can they move on? Then they're stuck. No truancy officer goes to the house and says, hey, your child's been out too long. What's going on? They're not sick. They're not coming in with a note. They didn't go to the doctor. So what's going on? Why are they home?
but yet they're walking around with you during the day, which means they're not sick. They're just out assisting family, and it can't work that way either. You know, I feel that it's just a busy thing going on where everybody is helping each other and stuff like that. But the best way to help each other is to really look out for these kids here, because it's not working.
How can we help parents? I'm sorry.
But wait. Now, that was one thing. My other thing was the way that all the classes are set. Okay, if your child is in band and they have specials, and they're missing time out of their specials to be at band. Now, I love it. Or 2 of my kids were in band. But if they're missing part of their time, they're missing the projects and things they have to work on, they're behind. They have no way of catching up. There has to be something where it's switched so that they're not missing those things. You know, it should rotate. It shouldn't be the same class every single time. And I know it's elementary. It's just the way that it's going to be. But there has to be something where that band time is cut down a little bit so that they're not missing all that special of art and gym and media, where they're asking them to do things and get reports and get books, and they weren't even there. And now they're doubling up and trying to catch up to meet what they want. And at the same time trying to meet that band teacher too, because they want it. So it has to balance.
Okay, wait, because I don't understand. I don't have children in school like that. So what you're saying is when they're in band, they miss class?
Yeah, they come out class.
No.
Listen to what I'm saying. When they're in band, they have it in lunchtime, and they have it after school. But there's times when it may go over, or they may have to come out earlier to go to band, and it's during a special. And I should know because my child is in it. Okay? So she may miss a little part, like 15, she may only have 15 minutes left of her art to go to, or her media to go to, or they start out in that class, but then they have to leave to go to band. And I don't want them to miss that part. So when they come the next time, because they missed that, they have to make it up. You get on the same page, which is fine sometimes, but not all the
That's
time.
only if there's hours.
Right.
Right? So when children want to do something, like to take a band, band or orchestra, the only way you can fit it into their schedule without pulling the child away from literacy or math is to give it to them during one of the special times, which is art, media, music, or art, media, music, because technically speaking, the child is never supposed to be pulled from physical education.
Right.
All right. So technically speaking, your child should not be responsible for getting an art project and all that other stuff if their band is scheduled during that period. You shouldn't penalize a child because they're in band. Band takes the place of that special. Okay, so if those things are happening, I have to speak to the building principal because it should not be happening. And your child should also have a set schedule. It shouldn't change from week to week or anything else unless, like you said, when there's special performances, and then we know sometimes they use the lunch hour and then after school to practice with the children. But for the most part, they have a set schedule, so it shouldn't be where they go back to art.
Right.
It shouldn't be that way, all right? But I'll look into that for you.
If we're gonna be having extra help, like
Yes.
AIS,
Yes.
help for the region.
We posted that, secondary level, they're getting ready to open up the ninth school, so the postings are up. We're waiting for the teachers to respond now.
So what exactly are we going, what's gonna be available?
You wanna take the elementary?
Elementary, all of the schools will be starting an after-school program after the next board meeting. Different buildings may do it slightly different, twice a week or Saturday. So some schools may opt to have it Monday and Tuesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, after school for 90 minutes twice a week, or it'll be a Saturday morning for 3 hours. It is for the extra help, and students will be invited to the program based on teacher recommendation and test scores. All right, so that should be starting shortly.
That's
I know I have. What happened?
That's elementary?
That's elementary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Clark will take the secondary.
We plan to start our night school Tiger Academy. I think we're taking what's the camp program. I think we like the Tiger Academy better. One of the things that we're looking at is how we already talked about it was that we wanted to make sure kids, first of all, try to graduate on time. So we met with the guidance department and we're looking at transcripts. And there's a couple things we noticed. We noticed that for our 12th graders who might be missing several classes because they sat in the class, they passed the class, but they failed the Regents. So we have a Regents recovery classes that will be starting in the end after Thanksgiving, and it will go for Regents class study from 3:30, 3:15 to 4:15, and the Regent prep all the way until January. So that they take it in January, hopefully they'll pass it then, but then they have another opportunity before June. We also noted for our juniors to catch them up for maybe 9th grade because they weren't here, they were in another state, in the transcripts, we couldn't give them the credit. They also will have the opportunity for credit recovery. That means, again, they sat in the class, they failed the class, they may have passed the Regents, but they still have to pass the class. So that will be set up with our new principal and ourselves and the guidance department for credit recovery. Then we said, what's going to happen with our sophomores? Because 9th graders and sophomores are a little tricky. Kids fail for several reasons in 9th grade and 12th and 10th grade. Basically maybe because of attendance, not coming and not grasping material. They may need extra time. We have already in place for our 9th graders, if they're failing classes, they need to make sure, we need to get out this message to parents, that they have to go to summer school. So that if they go to summer school and then they pass the class and pass the Regents, it keeps them with their cohort, with their graduating class. Sophomores will have the opportunity to, if they have to repeat a class, we want them to make sure they get the content, and then if they fail it twice, then we can't mandate it, but we're gonna strongly encourage that they go to summer school and they also then become juniors and they take these other courses. Now, there's only a certain amount of time in the day. What I've noticed in a short period of time that we've hired teachers, we've hired administrators, and then the students who need it, they didn't show up. And the classes are running. So we're going to make it accountable and make teachers accountable for the same reason. We have a lot of great dedicated teachers in this district. But there are a few, and I say a few teachers, that the kid doesn't pass their class, they go on and they teach night school, they don't pass night school, and then they get the opportunity to teach summer school, and they're not passing. So to me, coming in, we have to stop that. We have to have teachers who kids are performing in their class, so that then we know they can perform at night, and then we know they can perform in the summer. So that's one thing that has to happen, because it's your money, it's our kids' time, and they're sitting for it. So one of the things that we're doing, we're measuring that. We're getting, every kid should be touched by an administrator, a teacher, a teacher aide, in this more than one time. We have to put our hands, and when we say touch, we mean touch. There's no reason a kid should walk in this school from 9th grade to 12th grade and they've only had one contact with the guidance counselor one time. There's no way a kid who needs help, who has an IEP, only meets with one teacher. There's no way a kid should walk in this school or leave this school without knowing at least 6 people who have affected their lives. We're talking from athletics to after-school curriculum to homecoming to any of the activities that need to be. So as we develop this, and listen, I've been in places to change culture. I've worked with 50 school districts, all have different policies, 1,200, 1,400 students, and was coming from all different walks of life, and being able to build a community of respect with policies and procedures that make a difference for kids. When they leave high school, they have two things. First, they have their high school diploma, and they have the opportunity to go to the military, to work, or to college. And fool yourself, a high school diploma will not travel and get you many jobs after 3 more years. So we have to make sure that they're college and career ready, and that's the hard one. So we have a plan for that, and we're going to make sure that happens. People have to be accountable for our kids.
Is that implementation earlier than junior year?
Yes.
Because.
And the greatest thing about America, the greatest thing about this country, is that we have the opportunity to educate every child. And that's why people come here. And that's why we fought so long to have freedom. That's why we fought to have the rights to do what we have to do. So let's make sure that we're doing this the right way. I smile a lot, but I'm hired here to be responsible, to do the right thing for kids. I've done it that way for 14 years, and that's the way I have to do it here. You're not going to like me every day, parents. You're not going to like me everyday teachers.
That's a good thing.
You're not going to like me everyday staff. But you will like that we're making sense and we're moving forward. But it's going to take time, and it's going to take work with everybody. We got to be like Verizon, that commercial. We have one leader, and everybody's got to be right behind that leader. You can't turn around and everybody's going. So thank you, and hopefully we will have that for you.
Mike, just a second.
What we're doing tonight, because this is really a first. Usually the parents just have the board meetings, and at the board meetings we kind of don't have a lot to say, so I'm glad that you actually have opened up this opportunity for us. I want to say, as a parent, former student, resident, Hempstead, like I said, I'm very happy to see this happening. However, I do have a point that I want the board, if there's somehow, if you can communicate things to parents a little bit earlier. Don't wait till the last minute. I just got a letter from my son's guidance counselor to meet for his senior interview. I just got the letter Saturday that I'm supposed to come today. There was no way that I could possibly do that. Now, if the guidance counselor had known ahead of time, maybe even a week, give me a week. But I can't come in on Monday, I can't come here too, because I'm a teacher. So I can't just leave my class like that. So if there's some way we can get some sort of, announcements ahead of time, not 24 hours prior, not 48 hours prior, like with the scheduling. I know there was an issue this year, but there was also an issue last year. My child didn't get his schedule until the day before school last year. Correct. Is there a way we can get the schedules before school starts, or before, sometime even like in August, early August? Other school districts do it. Like I said, I know there was a technological problem this summer, but there was also a problem last summer. So I just want to make sure that we have it together. Let's fix the technical problem so that this way we can get our schedules ahead of time in a timely fashion and notices coming to parents. I didn't find out about the 8th period until I opened up my son's schedule on Tuesday. School started Wednesday. So I'm trying to look at him like, well, why do you only have 8 periods? I thought, well, there was none. There was no notification. Nothing was sent to the parents. Okay? Just because I work in the district doesn't mean I know every single thing that goes on in the district, because as I'm a parent first. So I want to know what is happening with my child's schedule. I want to know announcements coming before 48 hours. Because again, his senior meeting, I can't go to. And trying to get a hold of his guidance counselor now for 4 days, I can't get in touch with him. And the other thing, I don't mean to rat people out, but I have called the office of Hempstead High School 3 times. And I don't know who it is that I've been speaking to, but whoever it is quite rude on the phone. As if now the person doesn't know that, I'm a parent, I'm just calling and saying, can I speak to the guidance counselor? Well, it's 3:30. They're gone. What do you expect? Really? That's how you're going to speak? You don't know if I'm a parent. You don't know if who I am. To speak to anybody on the phone like that. And it hasn't happened once. It hasn't happened twice. It's happened 3 times. I can't say if it's the same person, because when I ask, well, what's your name? Click.
And I'm sure I'm not the only person that this has happened to. I'm not rude on the phone, so I don't, as a parent, I shouldn't expect anybody from this district to be rude to me. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Listen, you guys.
I just have a question about
No, wait. It's 10 minutes to 8. I know we started late and we're running over. It's our intent that by 7:30 we will be totally done. This has been absolutely wonderful. It really has been. It's helped all of us a lot.
My name is Cynthia Kay.
Yes.
My children are past students of
Active parents.
And what I am really disgruntled about is the fact that when I look in the papers, I see 35% child passing, and when I go to the schools, I personally visit the schools myself, sometimes when I have time. But I am not pleased with what's going on. What I need to know is if we are doing something about the illiteracy that exists in the school. We have to get our ducks in a row because this is ridiculous. This is totally uncalled for. Because here these people are getting paid for doing nothing. Come on now.
Amen.
Let's go. We have no time to play around. And this is something that I'm depending my dollar too. Because when I look, my taxes is sky high. Nobody wants my home because, hey, the school district sells my home, my house. So this is no good. So something has got to be wrong here. And you guys are educators. Come on now. I know they're good educators, especially in the high school. I know because my kids went here, so many different kids went there and come out doing good, great. And I no, this is not acceptable. This is something that's got to be wrong and something, come on now, pull up your sleeves and do something. I'm watching. I'm telling you, I'm watching. Me too. And I'm going all over the place here. This is no good. And it makes me want to cry because there are kids who are able-bodied and they can learn. Do we have programs in place? Because the Common Core didn't work. The No Child Left Behind didn't work. And come on now.
It's still there.
Come on. If we don't, another thing that I am disenchanted with, we are close by with all these different colleges. Hofstra, Malloy,
Delphi.
and the Delphi, and all these different colleges. Can't we get some help from these people? Come on now. Come on. Yes, we have to have some programs in place for these kids. You know, there's some, I see doctors come out of Hempstead High School. Okay, doctors, lawyers, okay? So many different fields come out of Hempstead High School. Come on now, wake up. And I'm watching, and trust me, I'll be around here. Because this is no good. This is totally unacceptable. And you guys know I'm watching my money. No. I'm telling you, I'm watching my money. No, it's not acceptable because we pay you guys to educate. Come on. And I'm hoping and praying that things will change. Because if it's not, I'm going to do what I think I should do. And it's not going to be nice. Trust me. And with that, good evening and good night. Thank you.
Okay.
Gracias. Solamente quiero hacer una pregunta.
Thank you. I just want to ask you a question.
Mi hija está viniendo a la escuela y nos llegó una noticia de que van a ser trasladados algunos estudiantes de escuela hacia otro lugar.
From the school to a different place. Okay.
Pero no sabemos si ella está incluida, mi hija, no nos ha llegado ninguna notificación o un listado de las personas que van a
He doesn't know
mover.
which kids are moving to a different location, because he has not received anything in that regard.
Ni lugar ni nada.
Not a place or anything.
If he hasn't received anything, then the child stays where they
Si
are.
usted no ha recibido nada, su hijo no va para ningún lado.
Okay, gracias.
Come on, Ms. McNeil and Ms. Gamble, but really quick. 'cause
In other areas, other school districts, I know for a fact, Baldwin and Uniondale, they have inspectors. They follow you. They follow the kids home when the bus drops them off, where the kids go from there. They follow the cars, because I have a child I sent to Baldwin, because I also had a home there. And they took me to court, because I was sending my child to school in Baldwin, living in Hempstead, when I was the owner of both homes, so I had the option up. But I had to get a lawyer and go to court to prove because they were kicking her out of Baldwin School District. Do we have inspectors? Because a lot of vans and cars pick up our children. Where do they go? Do they live in Hempstead? If they live here, like she says, we educate them. But they don't live here. And this is regarding as like 600 kids. That's what I thought. If you take away the homeless, if you take away the unaccompanied minors, then we have about 600 to 700 kids. Or do they all belong here? That's what we're going to do. We have that. And if not, why not?
We don't have inspectors, but what's good from the meeting last week where we had representation from the school district as well as from the village, because this is an effort that has to be done jointly. And from that meeting, there's a plan that we do have in place. I need the Board of Education to approve specific positions for me. We will have specific teams going out into the community starting before dawn and working through the night. They will be checking on these residents. As I indicated at one of the board meetings, we have over 9,000 homes that we looked at. Reducing that list where you have more than the acceptable number of children or students, that tally is over 3,000 residents. And with the team that we have, that would require additional staff working, but we have a plan on how they're going to go out to
Listen to everybody, all the stakeholders in the community, so that we can come together, we can get your ideas, and when it's time to do a real strategic plan for our district, we will have input from everybody. So we know that the notices went out a little bit late. We do plan on having another forum for parents. There's one for students, there's one for teachers, there's one for all of the stakeholders. Okay? Now what I want to say
Now, when the teachers come and they ask questions and they give their views, they will not
be punished.
There's no retaliation.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because I will defend my teachers.
But now, on the night that the teachers come, if you're not a teacher,
just
don't come. Because we're addressing teacher issues, and we want everybody to feel comfortable in their forums. And these are listening tours.
And did you say, I just want to make sure, did you say for every, one, so you're going to be doing it for the security, and you're going to be doing it for the cleaners? It has to be for everybody.
Yes, it is. We do have it here, Mrs. Booth.
Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't received that.
We gave it out the last board meeting.
I don't have enough.
When it was on
And I don't want, you know what?
Well, that wasn't a normal.
The next meeting is next Monday, I'm sorry. It's next Monday only because the election is Tuesday. And next Monday, same place, 6 o'clock, and it's for the homeowners, all right? Then the Monday, the November 3rd, it will be for the businesses.
Nice.
Monday, November 10th, senior citizens. Tuesday, November 18th.
Can we get a copy of that schedule?
Yes,
I'll give you one.
yes. It's the HCTA and the HTAA. That's the teachers and the teaching assistants. Then we have the other bargaining units. That's our custodial units, our clerical, security, grounds. And that would be Tuesday, November 25th. Then we have the clergy on Tuesday, December 2nd. Then community service organization is Tuesday, December 9th. Elected officials, Tuesday, December 16th. And then our students, Tuesday, January 13th. And then Ms. Bracely has asked us to piggyback and put another parent meeting at the end, because we know the notices went out a little bit.
And please make sure you use it.
I really want you guys for our next meeting to be thinking about how we're going to change this. Because in my opinion, and it's just, I'm like you all, our school doors should be open until 7, 8 o'clock every night. But we don't have the resources
resources for it. But I ran a very successful dance school in the village of Hempstead for 12 years. And the way I was able to do that is I had parents that I trained and they helped me. And so I didn't have to pay the parents, and I was able to pay top dollar for my dance instructors, and it was a very productive program. We could do that here. We could stay open till 8 o'clock at night if parents would be willing to train and volunteer and do those things. And we're going to do a trip to Albany to let them know our dismay. If you'd like to be on that planning committee, please come. I do. Please come up and give us your name before you leave.
Break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. Woo! To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain.